What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Chip and Dale are back on the small screen, but today we are going to talk about their brand new movie, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Is this the Roger Rabbit of 2022? We're going to talk about it. So 30 years after their popular television show ended, chipmunks Chip and Dale live very different lives. When a cast member from the original series mysteriously disappears, the pair must reunite to save their friend. Just in case you want to watch this with your family, let's start with the rating. It is PG for mild action and rude, suggestive humor. A couple of adult things in here, but for the most part, it is a fun family film. This version of Chip and Dale, they are a bit different because the voices, well, it is none other than Andy Samberg and John Mulaney. Then we have the director, Akiva Schaffer, who is a part of that Lonely Island crew, and they brought us a movie like Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping? That was a funny film, but that is not a film for kids, so we're having to shift tones. We're bringing that Lonely Island style of humor to this movie, but also incorporating so many other elements that I believe will get animation fans excited. Not only excited while you're watching this movie, but excited while you're pausing this movie to find all of the cameos and Easter eggs in the background. I did it multiple times. I'm like, wait a second, was that? Oh my God, it was. The rest of the voice cast, though, is great, too. You're immediately going to recognize Eric Bana and J.K. Simmons. You have Dennis Haysbert, Will Arnett. So the prominence of the voices for these classic or even brand new characters, it's there. But is it all just a shtick? Is it all just, we got a famous cast, we've got all these Easter eggs, we're going to appease kids, and we're not going to try on the story? Is that the case? And my answer is, I don't think it is. It is evident to me that they are attempting to do a Roger Rabbit type of film. I think there's two different directions they could have went. It's that direction where it's creative and they're including all of these elements, but each character serves its purpose, or it's what we know as the modern CGI cartoon character thrown into live action. It's cheap, cheesy, not a very good script or cast, and they just kind of, well, sometimes it's a good cast, but they just kind of throw it at us and say, here, now make us money. It feels like a Roger Rabbit because of the creativity. Obviously, way more for families, way more for kids, but there are still more than enough moments, scenes, ideas, concepts, characters in there for adults to say, I understood that, the kid didn't understand that, but it's okay, right? It's not on the nose enough to bother us while watching the film. And even though, yes, a lot of it's in there for nostalgia, these nostalgic moments do serve their purpose within the film. And at the core of the story, you have Chip and Dale who have moved on with their lives, a little bit of a fallout between the two, but they have to come back together to solve this mystery and rekindle that friendly fire that they once had underneath them that made them successful. And to get these moments where they're talking that out, or even when they're going back and forth and kind of making it comedic, those were sweet, those were genuine. Now, I will say, there are certain scenes to where you have to have nostalgia for Chip and Dale to either understand them or truly appreciate them. And I'll be frank with you, even though I love the theme song and I've watched a couple of episodes, I don't have a ton of nostalgia for Chip and Dale. It's one of those shows that I just didn't really watch growing up or didn't really watch when it was on. But what I have seen has been good, and I do believe even hardcore fans who are not going to love the choice to recast the voices are going to get it when they give you a reason as to why they did it. They're going to get it, right? And you have Andy Samberg and John Mulaney who are really funny. They have great comedic timing. Most importantly, though, they have great chemistry. To solve this mystery that they have to solve, they have to do that back and forth banter thing, but they also have to go up to other characters, interview them, talk to them. Those are the moments that work the best for me. You get a lot of humor. There's so many very quick jokes that you gotta have to be paying attention to fully laugh at or appreciate. And not all of the humor lands, not all of the jokes work. There are plenty of moments that I didn't laugh at, but most of them do. And if you can get that out of a comedy and enjoy the story for the most part, then I think it's a win. Now, when it comes to the actual story, the mystery itself and that process, while I was somewhat engaged, I was more so enjoying the dialogue, which is crazy. It's an animated movie. You're supposed to enjoy the mystery. It was fine. I've seen the mystery before. You know exactly where it's going. I wasn't fully invested in the overall story and the twists and the turns along the way. It was more so Chip and Dale's story, their relationship, and how they're going to come back together and try to solve this thing. That's what interested me the most. And then you have the human characters, and for the most part, they work. But there were some points where I was like, it looks like they're acting with animated creatures. Don't get me wrong, I love someone like Kiki Lane. She has given Oscar-worthy performances in the past, but I'm not entirely sure if that part served the movie like it should have. But the great one-liners in the film referencing so many other properties and characters like Polar Express eyes, and there's one character specifically that fans are going to go nuts for. It's hilarious. But different IPs, like non-Disney properties, I'm like, how in the world did they manage to do this? But they did it, and the movie's all the better for it. And just a brief tease into what the mystery is, it involves knockoff bootleg movies with awkward versions of our characters, so I found that to be hilarious. So before I give you guys my score, thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, let me know in the comments and the likes down below. I appreciate it. Rescue Rangers brings back a familiar formula, but revitalizes these characters for a new generation. It features numerous cameos that push the story forward, and families will have a great time. I thought this was a solid film. I'm going a 70% with my score. I think it's worth a watch when it drops on Disney Plus tomorrow. And I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, you can go follow me on my social medias, Twitter and TikTok and all of those things to find out what I'm watching this weekend. Coming soon, Bob's Burgers and Top Gun.